Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into one of the most shocking and controversial cases in American history, the murders of Nicole Brown Simpson and Ron Goldman. A case that still echoes in the minds of many, even decades later. The night was still, the air heavy with the warmth of summer, but behind the walls of 875 South Bundy Drive, something terrible had happened. It started with a dog, a restless Akita, whimpering and pacing outside a darkened home in Brentwood, California. It was just past midnight when a neighbor noticed the animal, confused and distressed. They followed the dog, and that's when they saw it. Two bodies, sprawled in pools of their own blood. The crime scene, a vision of rage. This is the story of how one brutal night destroyed lives, shocked a nation, and led to the most infamous trial in American history. A case of murder, fame, betrayal, and the question that still lingers to this day. This is the story of a man, an athlete, an actor, and a suspect. O.J. Simpson. You've ever wondered how a former NFL star became the center of a trial that captivated millions? This is the story you need to hear. It's not just about crime or a trial. It's about fame, power, race, and justice. And the question that still lingers, was he guilty of murder or was he the victim of the system? This is the case that changed everything. Grab a seat and let's unravel this story piece by piece. Before the infamous night, O.J. Simpson was a household name, a legendary football player, a movie star, and a symbol of success, living the American dream. His talent was undeniable, his charm magnetic. He had everything, or so it seemed. His life seemed perfect, from his dazzling career to his charming personality. But beneath that shiny surface, things were far from perfect, especially when it came to his relationship with his ex-wife, Nicole Brown Simpson. Nicole Brown was just 18 when she met O.J. He was 30. She was mesmerized by his confidence, his fame, his larger-than-life presence. And Nicole was married to O.J. in the 1980s. To the world, they were perfect. The athlete and the beauty queen, the fairy tale romance. They had 2 children together. But what many didn't know was that behind closed doors, their marriage was tumultuous, marked by allegations of abuse and escalating tension. There were warning signs, years of turmoil. Friends begged Nicole to leave, but love can be a dangerous thing. Despite their separation, their connection remained complicated, and their interactions were often marked by conflict. And then, in the early hours of June 13th, 1994, the nightmare that no one saw coming would change everything. On that fateful night, Nicole Brown Simpson and her friend Ron Goldman were brutally murdered outside her home in Brentwood, California. 9:30 p.m. Nicole dines at Mezzaluna Trattoria with friends. She laughs, sips her wine, completely unaware that it will be her last meal. Her mother forgets her glasses at the restaurant. Ron Goldman, ever the gentleman, offers to return them. No one knows exactly what happened in those final moments, but at 10:15 p.m., the attack begins. Nicole is struck first, a deep slash across her throat, a final gasping breath, blood everywhere, a vicious crime scene that would eventually become the subject of a media frenzy. The scene was horrifying. Both victims were found stabbed to death, left in a pool of blood, their lives snuffed out in a violent act. But what shocked the world even more was the prime suspect, O.J. Simpson. Investigators find footprints, DNA evidence, a history of violence. The pieces start to fit. O.J. had always maintained his innocence, claiming that he had nothing to do with the murders. Yet, the evidence against him seemed damning. A bloody glove found at the scene of the crime, a trail of blood leading to his house. And then, O.J. does something no one expects. Instead of surrendering, O.J. flees. He took off in his white Ford Bronco, leading police on a slow-speed chase that became an international spectacle, a desperate man, a nation watching. For 2 hours, America holds its breath. With millions of viewers glued to their screens, the chase was a surreal moment in American history. Is he running, or is he saying goodbye? This was the famous white Bronco chase, which became a symbol of the drama that was unfolding. As news of the murder spread, the media descended like vultures, turning this personal tragedy into a spectacle, and what followed would become a media circus like no other. As the trial unfolded, the media frenzy reached new heights. The case became more than just a legal proceeding. It was a reality show for the public. The 24-hour coverage turned every moment into an opportunity for pundits, celebrities, and ordinary Americans to weigh in on the case. The trial of the century, as it was dubbed, gripped the entire nation. The stakes were high, not just for O.J., but for the justice system itself. Every day, millions of people tuned in to watch the proceedings unfold. The courtroom became a stage, and the players, the lawyers, the witnesses, the defendant, became larger-than-life figures. The prosecution claimed they had undeniable evidence, blood at the crime scene, a bloody glove at O.J.'s estate, and traces of his DNA. But the O.J.'s defense team, led by Johnnie Cochran, crafted a strategy that would go down in history. They raised the question of racial bias, targeting the LAPD's history with race relations. A racially biased LAPD trying to frame a man who was too powerful to bring down. The moment that would define the trial, the glove. Cochran famously said, "If it doesn't fit, you must acquit," referring to a pair of gloves that were found at the crime scene. In front of millions of viewers, O.J. Simpson struggled to fit a bloody glove onto his hand. The defense's star moment that seemed to confirm their theory: if the glove doesn't fit, you must acquit. On the other side, the prosecution, led by Marcia Clark and Christopher Darden, worked tirelessly to present the evidence, attempting to prove that O.J. was guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. Yet, despite the chilling evidence and the testimonies, something incredible happened. On October 3, 1995, the jury found O.J. Simpson not guilty. The nation erupted into celebration, anger, confusion, and disbelief, and the world watched in stunned silence. For some, it was a victory for justice. For others, it felt like a punch to the gut. The case became a symbol of a divided America, of celebrity privilege, of race and class, and of the complexities of the justice system. How could a man so famous with so much evidence against him walk free? But what happened after the verdict? Did the truth ever come out? Well, that's where it gets even murkier. Despite being acquitted, many people still believed O.J. Simpson was guilty. The public was divided. Some were convinced that the trial was a reflection of racial tensions, while others felt the celebrity status of O.J. shielded him from the consequences of his actions. In 1997, a civil court found O.J. liable for the wrongful deaths of Nicole and Ron, ordering him to pay $33.5 million in damages. But he never served jail time for their murders. And then there was the book, If I Did It, a title that would haunt him forever. O.J.'s life after the trial continued to be a whirlwind of controversy, including his eventual imprisonment in 2007 for a separate case. But even after all these years, the questions about that night in 1994 linger. Was there a conspiracy? Was the evidence mishandled? Or was O.J. simply the victim of a flawed justice system? Beyond the courtroom drama, the O.J. Simpson case had a profound cultural impact. The trial exposed deep rifts in American society, especially in terms of race relations and how the justice system operates. People debated for years over whether O.J.'s fame played a role in his acquittal or whether the case was an example of how race and class influenced the judicial process. The trial brought to light the role of media sensationalism and how it can turn a criminal case into a global phenomenon. Every new twist, every new piece of evidence was reported live, fueling public opinion and shaping perceptions of guilt and innocence. And let's not forget the infamous white Bronco chase, a moment of television history that captured the nation's attention and added to the already feverish media obsession. It's hard to overstate just how much this case consumed American life in the 90s. Now, all these years later, the O.J. Simpson case still lingers in the public consciousness. Despite the verdict, the questions remain. Was O.J. guilty? Did justice prevail, or was it simply another high-profile miscarriage? As we look back on this story, it's clear that the O.J. Simpson trial wasn't just about two murders. It was about fame, race, the criminal justice system, and the way our society consumes scandal and drama. It's a case that reshaped how we view celebrity, power, and privilege. O.J.'s life would forever be marked by one fateful night in 1994. A trial, a chase, and a verdict that split the nation. So, what do you think? Was O.J. guilty? Or was he just a victim of circumstance and a broken system? Did justice ever truly prevail? What do you believe? Let us know in the comments. Make sure you subscribe for more true crime mysteries and hit the notification bell for more in-depth videos. And remember, nothing is ever as simple as it seems. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.